Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video, which is my 6 month plus, it's more like 7 to 8 months since I first got the Velocity One, review and thoughts of the Velocity One. How's it been holding up for the past half year plus? Has it still been performing well? Are there any issues with it? Are there any new features with it? That type of thing. I'll be giving you my whole thoughts and review in this video. One thing I will make clear, I'm not sponsored by Turtle Beach, I'm not paid by them in any way or promoted by them, and I bought this Velocity One flight yacht system with my own hard-earned cash, so do keep that in mind. Okay, let's not drag out this introduction. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so where to start? Maybe a good place to start is just to explain what I've done this morning over the past 5-10 minutes. For those of you who don't know, I moved to London. I've been here for the past couple of months now. My Velocity One was in storage on the south coast in a storage unit. So yesterday I rescued it, or the day before, anyway I brought it back with me yesterday, set it up today, and it took me a matter of 5 minutes to set up. It's one of the major positives with the Velocity One. You can just grab hold of it and then put it pretty much anywhere on any kind of service or any kind of table. You can see I've got a rickety old table again that I've just loaned for the purpose of this video. I'm going to have to get myself another one when I'm up here, of course. I've got my laptop just about balancing at the back there. Don't worry, it is safe, I've made sure. Just at the back there. Probably more ideal will be a monitor. I do have a monitor I can connect my laptop to. That would probably be more ideal. But anyway, you can see it still all fits. And with the clamping system there, one of the very best on the market. Once it's clamped, it's out of the way. You can hardly see it and notice it. But this just clamps pretty much to anything. And these will extend to a lot further if you need them to. So you can go very deep, have a very deep table and still connect it. Still clamp it to it, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Okay, another addition since my last video, since my 3 month later review, which I'll link in the top right there, SIP 1.2 Connect, or SIP Connect 1.2, has now been released. Link in the description for that. Let's try it. Oh, I am in multiplayer in Flight Sim, it doesn't matter. People can still get by me. I'm only a small Cessna 172 with SIP Connect 1.2. You can't really see it, but there's a black icon there. You choose which simulator, or Elite Dangerous. In my case, I've got it set to Microsoft Flight Simulator there. You want to play. Press Connect. That's when the sim's not connected. You can do all that. Choose your sim, press Connect. Start your sim, and then just press start, and it's all ready to go. There's no other configuration or setup. Very, very straightforward. It's a bit more improved. The autopilot light doesn't stay on now until you press autopilot. You've got your things like parking brakes, of course, your flaps. Do I have my flaps there? Yeah, you see? First stage of flaps, second stage of flaps, and then full flaps. Take them up, the light will extinguish. You can see a low fuel or fuel low warning light there. That's because in the sim, I've just set my fuel low for that purpose, just to show you. If it goes much lower, you'll get a master caution light saying that if you're not careful, you're going to run out of fuel and crash. Fantastic, very immersive. Very, very immersive. I really enjoy that SIP panel and the location of it as well. It's just ideal right at the back there. Now for Xbox, you're probably still all lamenting and biting your nails in frustration. I'm going to put on screen something from Turtle Beach themselves. There's something from their Discord, which I'll also link in the description. they're the same. I think that's in FAQ and fixes. Better be careful which way I say that. But they're the same. Where is SIP Connect for Xbox? They're literally waiting for Microsoft to input the data into Flight Simulation, which should be coming in the next sim update. Yeah, you can read that for yourself on screen, and their Discord is linked down below for you. Soon as that's in, SIP Connect will be coming to the Xbox as well. I've no doubt it's going to be coming soon, hopefully over the next couple of months. And when it does, you can all rejoice. It is very immersive. Because of the location of the SIP panel on the Velocity One, you can see all those lights. It just adds that little bit more immersion. Anyway, let's go on with more features that I've enjoyed over the past 6 months plus. So what else have I discovered and enjoyed over the past 6 months plus with the Velocity One flight? Well, it's these top throttle levers. It's one of the things that I have been using since the release of Concorde specifically. Linked to my tutorial videos of my tutorial flight in Concorde, I was using these levers. I set them up as 4 engines. They work beautifully. I've not adapted or modified these levers in any way. Other people have. They've added little strips here to make them more tense when you're moving them. Just don't feel a need to. Honestly, it would be nice to have a knob where you can increase the tension with the throttle levers. It's a missed opportunity. It would have been nice to have that. The Honeycomb Bravo unit has that, and that's going to be working on Xbox with the upcoming XPC yoke system. I'll talk more about that later. That has it. This doesn't. It would have been nice, but to be honest, I've had no issues with it. They feel great to use, in fact, in the hand. Very tactile and very immersive again if you're in something like the Concorde. Listen, at stock, by default, I'm having no issues with the tension of them. When I first got the unit, I'll link the video I did in the top right, this far right one did feel a bit loose. I've not done anything with it. I guess it's just normalised, either with use or when I connected the system. Just had no issues with it. Of course, the detent, the reverse thrust, is coming recently as well, so you can do some shenanigans with that. I tend to use a button for hold reverse thrust, that's just my preference. But the throttle levers themselves, I've been really enjoying them, especially in 4-engine aircraft, and that's just by default. Again, should I mention how much I love that trim wheel? Across the board, people are saying this is simply one of the best trim wheels on the market on a flight yacht system. Got to agree with them. Absolutely love that. One of my favourite features of the Velocity One flight. I won't talk too much more about that. It's just a fantastic trim wheel. The GA throttle levers prop mix. Very immersive if you're in something like the Cessna 172. Hear my engine increase there. Pull it back, you can hear it decreasing. Absolutely lovely when you're flying around. I love using these. I actually went and bought or pre-ordered the Velocity One flight because, well, one of the main reasons was because of these levers. I was going to buy something for PC. It's like a unit, not by one of the main manufacturers, but it was just a unit that had these GA levers. I was going to buy that unit, then I held off because I saw the Velocity One had one, pre-ordered that, and it's not disappointed me. Would be nice if these twisted and turned. They don't. They're just sort of set in place so you can't turn them. But certainly when you're using them, in something like one of the Cessnas or GA aircraft, these feel very fantastic, very, very immersive. Simply one of my favourite features, again, of the Velocity One flight. The yoke in the pitch axis has stayed nice and limber after a couple of months of use. Wasn't the case when I first got it. It was a bit stiff. Now it's just become very fluid. In fact, it's becoming better and better. Well, it can't get much better. I just went for a quick flight before I recorded this video, just to make sure, as I had it in storage. beautiful. I could flare for hours if I wanted to over the runway coming in for landing. No issues with that at all. I do believe it was a batch issue. One batch of the Velocity One, maybe one of the pre-ordered batches, had a bit of stiffness, and Turtle Beach was saying use it for a while, it will loosen, and it certainly has. No issue with that, with the aileron so precise. I'll come on to more about that subject later. How much I missed it. Anyway, I won't spoil that yet, but so precise as you're turning, and flaring indeed. Okay, so those are the things I've really been enjoying over the past 6 months plus. Let me go on to a couple of things which I feel could be improved. So it's really difficult for me to come up with some disadvantages or cons with the system. I guess one thing that is a missed opportunity is that this throttle quadrant, it connects, and it's a plastic connection, so there's no sort of internal wiring going on there. You just connect it to, and then you connect it via label to the yoke system itself. It would be good if you could, maybe in the future, if that could be a separate unit, even a USB system. So if you had a separate yoke system, because this throttle quadrant is one of the best features of any yoke system out there, certainly of the Velocity One flight anyway. Anyone that I've used so far, it's just fantastic with the buttons, the levers, the trim wheel, and all that goodness. If that was a separate unit, or you could buy it as a separate unit, and hopefully it will be available in that form in the future, and then you could connect it via USB to your Xbox or PC, certainly PC, because a PC has a myriad of yokes available. That would be fantastic. You can do that. You can disconnect it here, move it along left or right, and then still connect it to your yoke, and then use sticky pads. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, just a demonstration, but then you'll have a sort of thing that will be sticking out here, look a bit untidy. Bit of a missed opportunity there. If it could have been separate, that would have been more ideal, and you can clamp that separately to your table. But maybe something like that will come in the future. If you're listening, Turtle Beach, that would be brilliant. That would be a big seller if you could buy the throttle quadrant separately and it would work, and you can configure it separately. And you can do that on PC anyway. You can configure your throttle quadrant separately. So yeah, a USB version of that would be fantastic. With the front flight management display here, this front display unit, I do believe Turtle Beach have plans for this, where you can have things like maybe a map or autopilot functions on this unit. So far it's just mainly used for settings, import mode, you know, training. Training doesn't do a great deal, to be honest. You can't really do much with that at the moment. So it'd be good to see new features get implemented with this as well. Leave your ideas down in the comments of what you would like to see implemented on this front display unit. It just seems to be sitting there and not being used a great deal on the Velocity One flight, so it would be great to see upcoming features, and like I said, I do believe Turtle Beach have plans for that. You know, I can't think of many more cons or disadvantages with it. So I'll tell you what, with all that said and done, let's go to my conclusion. Okay, conclusion time. Do I still recommend the Velocity One flight? With the upcoming honeycomb on the horizon, and after using it for the past 6 months? Well look, let me put it this way. Like I said before, I moved to London a couple of months ago now. I didn't bring my Velocity One with me. I brought my Mac 2 HOTAS with me. Link to my review of that in the top right. Fantastic HOTAS system. But I was lamenting the fact, especially as I like to fly GA aircraft, I was lamenting that I did not have my Velocity One flight yacht system with me. Now it's with me, it really is like being reunited with an old friend. It's my favourite flight controller by far, and it's gonna be difficult to beat. Yes, I've got the XPC on pre-order. I paid money for that as well, so any views on that will be my own. I'm gonna have to pre-order the, well, I'm gonna have to get hold of the Honeycomb Bravo as well for that. And I'm paying a premium for that, $350 just for the yoke system and hub itself, which is the cost of the Velocity One. I'm going to have to pay an extra £220 to get hold of the Bravo throttle quadrant. It's got a lot to live up to. And regardless, even if it is good, I'm still going to be swaying towards the Velocity One. I feel the way I have it set up, I'm just so used to it. It just feels, it makes flying 100% better for me, 100% more enjoyable. I've not been flying a great deal apart from making videos with my Holtas there with my Mac 2. Now I've got this, I just can't wait to get back up and in air, a daily flight or flying regularly again. It's just absolutely brilliant. And for the price, for Xbox users at the moment, I do believe this is the best on the market currently. Even with the release of the XPC yoke, the cost of that, you do have to factor that in. It's going to cost pretty much, especially if you want, I've not even mentioned there that it has inbuilt rudder triggers. If you wanted something similar, so you're going to buy rudder pedals for the XPC as well, it's going to be twice the cost of this unit, and it's something you're going to have to factor in, and it's still an unknown at this time. Still highly, as you can hear, recommend this yoke system. I'm not just saying it, I bought this with my own money. Do keep that in mind. It is by far my favourite flight yoke system out there, and I do believe it will remain that way, but time will tell. But listen, do let me know your thoughts below. Have you been enjoying your Velocity One over the past 6 months, if you had it when it was first released, over the past few months if you've got it more recently? Are you tempted to buy one? Honestly, I say go for it. When that SIP status indicator panel is implemented on the Xbox, I don't know, it's just going to make it a no-brainer for me. But let me know your thoughts below. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you soon.